old hag. I told you before to make sure to clean up my room during the day, didn't I? What the hell have you been doing all day while sitting inside the house?
I've been working, Carla. Did I forget to tell you before that I work from home right now? I tried to make some time to clean up after you both, but you are always making too much of a mess for me to clean up.
All of your excuses are so freaking annoying. You're working from home? An idiot like you is only making some spare change sending out spam emails to random people online, right? You're pretty much just a housewife for all I care. So at the very least, do some of the freaking chores, you old hag.
And you happen to be in high school right now, which means you should be more than capable of throwing your garbage in the trash can, right? Also, what do you think you're doing calling your mother an old hag like that right now? That's rude.
Huh? You were never the person that gave birth to me, right? All you are is the spare trash that was left over by the rest of society, and which my dad kindly picked up and married. So don't get the wrong idea about yourself again, old hag. I'm sure you just married my dad for his income, but how about you actually go out and find a real job so you have your own money to use on things like food?
Why were you raised in such an awful way?
Stop trying to act like my mom. All you are is a parasitic, begging old hag. I'm going with my friends now to the arcade. Ugh, if I don't have enough money for the night, make sure to send me more, okay?
Excuse me? It is too late now for you to be going out with your friends. And weren't you supposed to be going out to study after school today? Ugh, there's no hope for you anymore. David, you need to go and have a word with your daughter. The way she is treating me right now is far worse than it used to be, and I will not stand for it any longer.
What? She's still in high school, which means that she's still going through her rebellious phase, right? She also doesn't happen to be related to you by blood any. And since she's about to become an adult, she's in a bit of a mess, right?
But there has to be some limits to the way she treats me. And just as a little reminder, back when we first got married, you told me you would work to make sure that her and I got along well, right? These days, you have been out of the house quite often, leaving your family here to deal with these problems alone. Are you purposefully doing that?
The only reason I said those things back when we first got married is because I didn't have much on my plate in terms of work. I actually had the time to be around the house and help out. But right now, I have a ton of business trips up my ass. You understand just how important something such as work is for us, right? We are a family, so how about you get around to understanding we all have our own things going on and take care of the house?
So you're just going to talk as though there hasn't been some major issues here?
Ah, that's right. When it comes to Carla's after-school studies, do you mind paying for that for now?
Why should I? Aren't you making enough money right now to be paying for your daughter's classes? I'm not sure how much you have in your accounts right now, since we chose to hold separate accounts after getting married. But you have to have enough for her, right?
Right. But I want to think about how we're going to live as we get older and plan on retiring, and save up for that. I would like to get myself a new home in my liking without having to take out a massive loan either. To work with me here so that it can happen.
Then could you tell me how much you have saved up in that account right now, please? If I don't at least have an idea of how much you've saved thus far, I won't be able to make a plan in order to help you out.
I can tell you all about that later. For the time being, make sure you pay for her to have those classes after school. This is a favor I'm asking, alright?
You told me that you continue to pay for her to take those classes, as long as I paid for things like the food and such at home, right? Ugh. Carla? Where the heck are you right now?
What? Well, if it isn't the old hag, have you finally noticed me not being around?
I can see that all of your things aren't out and about around the house. Did you really end up leaving?
You have it all wrong. All wrong. I heard that Dad would no longer be going back to that house anymore. And so, I went with him, leaving my stepmother at that house while we found a new place.
Huh? What are you going on about, Carla?
In other words, you are no longer going to be able to leech off of Dad and the $8,000 a month he has been making. Sucks to be you.
You explain yourself right now.
Before today, Dad said it himself, right? He said that to do his work and everything, he would no longer be able to go back to that house where you're still at. He told me to stay with you for the time being, since he expected that you'd be too lonely after he was gone. But honestly, I don't give a crap about you being lonely or not. That's why I went ahead and left the house, and have arrived at the house Dad should be moving into.
What the heck is all of this? So you know about where David is moving into now?
He never actually told me anything about where he was moving to, so I went ahead and stalked him for a bit to see where he'd go. And today is the day I plan to be here to surprise him. And luckily, I'm right at the doorstep now. Not having our slave around anymore to do all the cooking and cleaning for us is going to be a pain in the butt. But at least I won't have to deal with you now. I'm going to be living on my own after college anyway. So why not start learning how to do all the things you were supposed to be doing now? There's really no need for you anymore. And since we don't need you, you're free to go bye-bye now.
I always thought that your twisted attitude and character had something to do with you having lost your mom and being forced to settle with me. That is why, even though it was a pain for me to deal with you, I still raised you to the best of my ability for the past 10 years like your mother. But I can see that that was a waste of time and effort. You have always been that kind of a horrible woman, and there was never going to be any change.
Huh? Are you not going to accept that you were only married in order to be used? And that's why you're acting like a sore loser now?
I don't care about what you have to say anymore. I was already done with David, but the same feelings are occurring with you now, Carla. So go on ahead and enjoy living with your father, who is only making $300 a month.
Huh? What did you just say about my dad? Right now my dad is making close to $8,000 a month at the company he's employed for. Ugh, I know what this all is. You idiots are so bad at math that you weren't even able to differentiate $300 from $8,000.
Oh, so you had no clue about it. Well, thankfully, your ignorance has nothing to do with me anymore. I'm sure when you find out about how much David is making a month, you're going to go into shock.
Huh? Screw off, you lying old hag! Hey, what is going on here? Dad, he was just with another woman entirely. And when the woman saw me and asked about who I was, Dad replied to her saying he had no idea who I was. Hey, what is all of this about? Hey, what's going on here?
So you found out. I'm pretty sure what you just saw there was your father having an affair.
Huh? Did you already know about this?
I only found out after I went and got a lawyer's help in tracking him down while he was away from home. I knew things were off about that man for a long time now. That is why I took my time getting all the evidence my lawyer stated I needed, and now I plan on divorcing him.
What?
I mean, you both aren't going to be coming back to this house anymore, right? If you and him aren't going to be living with me, then what's the point of staying married to your dad? For a while, I had been a little bit hesitant about making this choice now, and wanted to wait until after you graduated from high school and were off to college. But I've started to go crazy from all the crap I've been forced to take. And having to stay home while my husband goes out to have affairs like that over long periods of time with another woman is not for me. It makes me want to throw up just thinking about how long it's all been going on for. And as for the place we'd all been living together in for the past 10 years, I'm going to be leaving it as well and ending the lease agreement.
Huh? Then what am I going to do now? Of course you're going to tell me where you're moving to, and will take me back in, right?
No. Why would I ever do that? You're not my kid to be taken care of. How about you go and ask your actual father to take you? Tell him that you won't bother his other woman any, and will leave the place whenever they want to get a little dirty on the couch.
Wait! Your joke isn't really that funny. Aren't you supposed to be my mom? And Dad was the one that told me to stay and live with you, right?
But you went and said no to that, and went all the way out to your dad's house with all your things, leaving me here alone, right?
Because I had no clue that Dad was with another woman. There was no helping the choice I made at the time, right? You think I'd ever choose someone that I'm not even related to like you to parent me? When my dad is my real parent?
So then, why are you choosing me now, when you told me off so many times? Or is it just because you've now realized that your real dad doesn't care about you anymore, and I'm all that you have left? That's a little bit selfish of you, is it not?
So what? You want me to apologize to you for that or something? You're going to force a kid to apologize to you now? Alright, sure. So sorry about that. Was that a good enough apology for you? This is why you've always been too much of an idiot to find a decent job, and have always had to live as a housewife with too big of a pride.
Listen, Carla, who the hell do you think here really has too big of a pride for themselves right now? And if that's going to be the way you apologize for the way you talked to me and treated me, then how about you go screw yourself and forget about it?
What the heck is wrong with you? Your kid was just thrown away and abandoned by her own dad. Don't you feel bad for me right now?
But the funny thing is, you're not some child anymore. You're close to being an adult now, which means you really have to start acting like one.
I guess I'm not going to be able to get Jack out of you then. At the very least, I need to go and have a talk with Dad and make sure he gives me some money for a place of my own and everything. I'm his actual kid, after all, so I have a right to things like that from him.
Well, you should have a right to things like a roof over your head and food from your parents. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be impossible when it comes to David. Like I said before, he's only making $300 a month.
Huh? Could you give it up already with that seriously annoying lie you keep telling me? Do you not remember the day back when Dad went and showed me his income and everything? He was making $8,000 a month. How come you don't remember any of that? It is way too soon for you to be losing your memory like that.
Oh, come on. There was a forged document he made. He didn't just show you that, but he showed it to me too, and made it a priority to have it fabricated so that he could fool us. I made sure with the help of a lawyer to look into that company he was receiving whatever income he faked on that paperwork from. And sure enough, the company actually existed. However, when we called the company and asked about your father, not a single person there recalled him being on the payroll.
You're lying.
Your father made all of that up on his computer inside his office. And while he was out of the house, I went in there and looked around for some proof that he was up to no good. And in his trash can, I found some documents. There was some documents and such from his online bank accounts and such. And on one of them, his username and password was written. So, in order to find proof, I went ahead and had a look through his bank accounts and found that he was only getting about $500 a month. And after paying for things like health insurance, he was left with $300. That right there is the reality of your father, Carla. I'm sure he's lying about all of that to his other woman as well right now.
I don't believe you. There's no way I could believe something like that from you.
Then allow me to send you a link to the bank he uses and his username and password so you can have a look for yourself. And then you can take a minute after looking to think about what you're going to do next, all right?
Hey, Dana! What the hell is this picture you just sent me a second ago?
You're asking me what it is? It's a picture of you having an affair.
So you went and stalked me if I were ever saying a thing? I feel sick now just thinking about that.
Hey. You think you have the right to say that? You were going to leave your own daughter with the woman you married after your first wife, all so that you could leave and be with another woman? Thinking that you'd be able to get away with that is idiotic. Did you think you could actually hide all of that for so long?
I assumed that when I told you I had a lot of business trips up my ass, you would believe me. You did believe me at first, didn't you? And considering that Carla is a lot older now, I thought it'd be alright for me to be out of the house more and moved in with my girlfriend.
She's still a teenager. Are you really a father? David, did you get married to me so that you could have someone to push your daughter off on, so that you'd have some more time to play? And then you faked your bank statement so that it looked like you were making more than me in order to lock me in. Well, I had a look at your real income, bud, and I made sure to show Carla too.
Huh? I told you before never to go into my office without my permission, right?
You thought I was just going to leave that room the way it was forever, after being told you were never coming back to the house? Too bad, right? I always wondered why back in the day you came up to me at the class reunion, asking me to marry and all. Well, now I know why, and I feel a lot better now because of it.
Wait, what are you going on about?
Before you started to tell me all about what happened with your last wife, and about your daughter you've been left with, I was struggling with the reality that I was infertile. I was just about to accept that I'd never find anyone who wanted to marry me. But when you came asking to marry me, I knew it would be my last chance at getting to experience marriage and motherhood. Even if Carla was a total jerk about it, I knew I could put up with her for a bit because I believed she was just not used to having a new adult in the house. And even when a few years later, I felt that there was something extremely fishy about you, I continued to stick around for Carla's sake. And after 10 years of putting up with everything thinking that it would one day pay off, this is what I get. Carla thinking of me as nothing more than a parasite feeding off your income, and you going out with another woman behind my back after lying to us about your money. I'm fed up with having anything to do with the both of you now.
Then, did you go and kick Carla out of the house? Where is she right now?
Well, I'm not really sure where she is anymore because I left that place for good. I already called the real estate agent and told them that we'd no longer be renting that house, and since I was the one with my name on it, I was able to do such. I think I'm going to call a moving truck out here soon, and we'll have all my things moved to a new place.
What the hell are you doing? Don't you feel bad for Carla at all?
And don't you feel like you've been a cold-hearted bastard this whole time after what you've done? And by the way, what is this $300 a month you've been making? That's less than a housewife would be getting from her husband, right? I know that you went through a lot of effort fabricating your bank statements to look like you were making a bunch of money every month. But with only $300 a month, have you even been able to save anything at all? That's why you were having me pay for not only the house and everything, but for your daughter's class fees as well.
That's just the money I've had on hand is all.
But there were times when you told me before that you'd pay for things. So tell me, where did all of that money come from? Because I didn't see any of that money going through your bank accounts. Ah, unless you were using your credit cards to pay for everything and are in debt now? Well, don't worry. I already knew that was happening after a recent notice came in the mail for your credit cards. Someone doesn't seem to be paying off any of their debt.
You shut up about that. Making fun of me like I'm some kind of idiot. When it comes to men, they have to do whatever it takes to make themselves look good in front of their own family. I know that a woman like you would never be able to understand something like that.
Wow. So when you're being backed into a corner, you begin to bark like a feral dog. That's the kind of thing real dumbasses do instead of discussing their issues.
You're the one who's played like a fiddle by me for so long, so shut the hell up. That's right. The only reason I don't have any money right now, nor any income, is because I'm in the works of opening my own online business. There are a lot of troubles that come with starting a business after all. It takes a lot of time and money to do so. That's why right now it looks like I have nothing at all, and I'm in debt with those credit card companies. But once I have the business up and running, I'll be making bank and will pay everything off. I'll become rich as hell.
Come on now. How many years has this been going on for?
I've had a lot going on. So stop talking like I have no clue what I'm doing right now and shut your damn mouth already. I would have been able to tackle everything a lot sooner. But I had to also deal with people like Carla, and that's why I've needed someone at home taking care of her for me. That's why 10 years ago, I came across you again, a successful engineer, and picked you up from being a single woman in her 30s. Thank you so much for paying everything off for me this past decade. And thank you for paying my daughter to go take extra classes after school and have all that nice clothing. You have done a wonderful job taking care of everything for me.
I see. But that private high school you've been having Carla go to, I only paid for about half of her tuition there. And she'll still need to have at least another year paid for.
What?
Which means you're going to be paying for that part now. And since you've also been having an affair behind my back for a while now, you'll be paying me a settlement too. I'm getting divorced from you, by the way. Make sure you pay me in one lump payment, please.
A divorce? Wait. But what about Carla? She's still young, right? Think about all what you're saying right now.
I told her that I no longer have any feelings of love for you both anymore. She's your actual daughter, so how about you start to take care of her now? I'm not going to be used like a tool anymore by the both of you, so goodbye.
I don't have the money to take care of for her right now, though.
Then ask your girlfriend to help you pay.
I told her that I'm just a single man who'd like to be married to her as a husband of sorts.
Huh? So you never told your girlfriend that you're married and have a daughter from your first wife? How the hell? Like, seriously, why would you hide all of that from her? You really are the most stupid man to ever walk this earth. Ugh. Having to talk with you anymore is going to give me a serious migraine.
Hold on a second. Let's rethink all of this. Let's you and I meet up and we could talk about this all over again and more casually.
No freaking thanks. The next time I talk with you will be with my lawyer beside me, so you can wait until then. With that, goodbye forever.
Hold on a second, Dana. I'm asking you to wait just one more second, please. Hey!
Hey, Mom? Where are you right now? I have something I'd like to ask from you. I'd really like to come together to live with you, Mom.
Not going to happen, Carla. I'm no longer your mother, and no longer have to even think about you anymore.
I went over to where Dad has been staying at with that woman, and rang the doorbell, and repeatedly tried to get him to come to the door. And just when I thought I could hear his footsteps coming, it was that woman. I told her about everything that had happened, and that's when everything went downhill very fast. It was insane, Mom. I'm in trouble now. I ran away from there and tried going to Grandma's house to stay with her.
You did?
But she told me she couldn't take care of me for a long time, and that she didn't have the money to pay for me to go to school either. She told me to do my best paying for my tuition myself. I'm not going to be able to stay another year, Mom. I'll have to drop out and everything. I thought I was getting so close to graduating and going to college where I could join a sorority and mess around all I wanted.
How about you start going out to find yourself a part-time job and use that money to pay for school? Or better yet, get a student loan?
That's too much work for me. If I do that now, by the time I become an adult, I'll probably be in too much debt to be able to afford anything. And if I have to work part-time, I will seriously have no energy to do anything else. By that point, I won't even want to go to college anymore, right? I don't want to work or get a student loan.
Remember that college is a place where you go to study. So even if you go into debt with a student loan and have to spend time working a part-time job or two, your education will make up for it all later. But in your case, you want to be there to mess around and have fun. And that's why you'll stop wanting to go, because you won't have any money to play around with. Thankfully, that is none of my business. Also, weren't you always saying before that I'm nothing more than a begging parasite that doesn't have a real job and is just a housewife?
I misunderstood everything, okay? I thought that Dad was making close to $8,000 a month that whole time, right? And that led me to think that there was no reason for you to be working any.
I'm not listening to any more of your excuses, Carla. I'm not going to do anything for you now after the way you talked to and treated me. Go find someone else to bother now, please.
No way! You and I are family, right? You're my mom!
Such an annoying little brat. If I was really family to you, then why did you leave the house when your father told you to stay with me, saying you didn't need me anymore? I am not going to sit around being used like a tool by you anymore. Both you and David are the same exact people. You guys are so dang similar that I can't tell which one of you I hate more. And to think that I actually was willing to care about you still, and wanted to make sure you were raised properly. That's all in the past now, at least.
Why?
Why what? I wanted you to change from being such a stuck-up little brat and learn to act like a respectable little girl instead of like your father. But you never came around to doing so, which is too bad because people aren't going to continue staying around your bad attitude forever. Do you know how much you hurt me? How horribly you talked about me? You called me a parasitic, begging old hag, and plenty of other things that a real daughter would never say to her mother.
That was me in my rebellious phase. I never really meant all of those things at that time.
You are 18 years old now and can be tried as an adult. How about you think about what you're saying instead of just speaking without a care in the world? You are such a damn idiot.
But I was...
You should be happy there is even a house still that is willing to take you like your grandma's. Sure, it's not your father's house or anything, but do you really think you'd want to be there with his girlfriend? Honestly, I don't even understand why I keep talking to you about this, when all you are is a stranger to me now. Could you please just stop talking to me now? And make sure to help your grandma when she asks for it, okay?
Don't abandon me, please! You're the only person I have left that I can ask for help from.
I loved you before, Carla. Goodbye forever now.
Mom!
Hey, Dana? You should be starting to calm down from all the anger you had before, right? As for the settlement you're asking for, can you please rethink it all for me? Something like a divorce isn't something you can just ask for overnight like you've done, right? That girlfriend I've been with has told me she no longer wants to be with me. So, hey, let's get back to being husband and wife, alright? Along with Carla, it can be the three of us living together again, right? Hey, do you mind replying to me yet? I was kicked out of the family by my mom, and after going back to the house we've been living in before, there are different folks there now. I don't have anywhere to go now. So hey, Dana, what? There's this guy coming right at me from down the road in an all-black suit and sunglasses. Wait, who the hell is he?
While he was in the middle of having a one-sided conversation with me, David was taken away in an all-black SUV. When he was in serious need of money, he had started to borrow from some very odd people that most would find too suspicious to even talk with. And, well, he was taken away that day by them to a secluded warehouse out by the bay, where those people told him very carefully what would happen to him if he didn't start to pay them back right away. This all happened after I told David he didn't have to pay off the settlement in one lump sum, and that was enough to get him to agree with signing the divorce papers for me. After he was released by those strange people, he went back to talk with his now ex-girlfriend one more time about getting back together, but she told him something even better. She said that she'd be getting a settlement from him next, as they were already engaged by the time she found out the truth, and wanted some kind of compensation for wasting her time with him. He is really going to be left with nothing once he's paid her off, and who knows how he's going to deal with all that debt he's going to be in then. As for what's happened with Carla, she was no longer able to pay to go extra classes after school, and her motivation plummeted. She then failed her SAT and ACT, and had to start working a part-time job when she could no longer finish high school. I hear that she's really beginning to look like an adult now, working a job and everything to try and afford her life. And I hope that over time, she begins to change mentally as well. As for myself, I become a single woman again, only this time, I'm not worried about things like marriage and being a mother anymore, and I'm going to enjoy my later years the way I want to. And with all of this money from the settlement that will be coming in, I think I'll just be fine retiring from my line of work a bit earlier than most. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.